Hello, welcome back to MFWoodShop. Today I'm going to replace my cast iron table with my homemade wooden one. And let me tell you why. So if you own a bandsaw, you know dust collection's always been a problem with bandsaws. You know, dust collection at the bottom, dust collection on top of the table, just dust everywhere when you're cutting wood. That's one of the reasons I replaced the cast iron tables with the wooden version. Now this wooden version, it is kind of a torsion box setup, and within that torsion box there is a cavity for the air to flow through, and underneath right here is a 4-inch dust collector. Sucks all the air right down into that dust collector. The throat plate is an oversized throat plate. It's 5x5 aluminum, 1/4 inch thick, and it has a series of holes. Now the holes are there for essentially a downdraft table. So that eliminates the sawdust at the top of the table, at least most of it. At the bottom bearings, where you get the most sawdust on the factory table, that is pretty much eliminated with this table. All the dust that gets pulled through the blade gets sucked in through this channel and into the dust collector. So the dust actually never really gets to the bottom bearings. So that's the main advantage to this table. So the table itself is made up of 3/4 inch plywoods on top and bottom, and in the center it is basically a torsion box setup. And then I have a slot here for the bandsaw so I can get the bandsaw blade out. And it all working pretty well. Let me show you a cut real quick, just to show you very little dust on the top of the table, and then I'll show you the build of the table as much as I can. So while testing this whole system to see if it's working the way I want it to work, I've noticed with very light woods such as this cedar, I do get more dust on the top of the table. That's why I've been testing almost everything with that chunk of cedar that I have. I have cut hardwoods and like 2x4s and stuff like that, and I get very, very little dust with that. But even with this cedar, this is all I get on the top of the table, which is a lot better than the factory table for sure. So let me break away from this, put this back in its home location, and show you a little bit about the build on this particular table. So one other thing I want to show you, and this is something that I would have changed going forward if you build one of these, make this change. I got the dust collection port here. This is the front of the saw here. I would have put the dust collection port in the back of the saw. And I actually meant to do that in the design when I was working on this. I just got turned around backwards or something when I put this port in, and it ended up on the front side of the table. The reason you want it on the back side of this is because the blade comes out of this little port right here, and you actually have to unhook the dust collector to get the blade all the way off. It's not a big deal, but it's something I would have changed if I'm going to rebuild this. You may be asking what this hinge is for, and this is only there to keep the two sides of the table square or flat. You have to remove these two screws and flip the hinge to get the bandsaw blade out, and then once everything's put back together, you can put the two screws back in, and that'll keep the table from doing one of these things. So right now I got the 4-inch dust collector port for the table, and I do have one for the factory hookup as well. Now I put a blast gate on this because I wanted to test whether it was better with both or better with just mine. And what I've been finding out is better with just mine. If I have both of them hooked in, it loses too much suction. Right now, the only one that's actually working is the one for mine. Oh, that's gotta work perfect. Oh, look at that backwards. But something is wrong there. There we go, that's better. Oh, yeah. So before I went to the aluminum plate with the downdraft table idea, I just had a 2-inch throat plate right here. And what I was finding is dust all over the place. And so it wouldn't collect, it was doing fine underneath. It was collecting everything from underneath. But at the top, I was just getting dust everywhere. And so I did a live hangout, and I had plenty of suggestions about maybe extending a line, a crack such as just like this one, out this way, because all the dust was actually trailing from in between the two pieces of wood when it was being cut off. And that did help a little. It still wasn't good. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great. This is a much better solution. It's a big 5-inch plate, has plenty of holes and plenty of suction here, and all the dust that comes off the two pieces of wood that's trapped in between actually gets sucked down in between on the bottom and gets sucked down right through those holes. And it's working out really good so far. So I just ran MDF, pine through, 1 pass each, and this is what's on the table. I have a little back here, and I must have had some dust on the one of them when I started. And that's it. So all the rest of the dust went through the downdraft table into the dust collector, and it just works beautifully. All right, so I think I'm going to leave the bandsaw table alone for a little while, play with it for a little bit, and see if I can come up with any other solutions and try to get even more dust collection at the table itself. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment down below, and I'll be happy to read those and see if I can incorporate that maybe in phase 3 of this project. This table is actually phase 2. I've already built one table, kind of a prototype, and it worked out really well. That's why I decided to go and replace the cast iron table with this one. So please leave a comment down below, and I'll check those out. Other than that, that's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time.